the Dragon Witch, Whispering Peaks. In the heart of an ancient forest, where moonlight filtered through the canopy and illuminated glowing moss, lived Alara, a dragon witch of formidable power. Her companions were two dragons, Ignis, a colossal, fully grown male whose scales shimmered like volcanic rock, and Ember, a small but fiercely determined female with a fiery spirit. A bond was forged not just in magic, but in a shared history. Alara and Ignis had saved Ember from a terrible fate, a spell that had frozen her in time, and Ember's gratitude was as boundless as a summer sky. Their latest journey took them to the Whispering Peaks, a mountain range rumored to be home to creatures of great magic. Their guide and new friend was Kale, a wise old scholar whose robes were as dusty as his ancient scrolls. Kale had dedicated his life to uncovering the secrets of the Elder Dragons, the long-forgotten ancestors of all dragonkind, and he believed Ember held a key to their lost knowledge. As they ascended the peaks, they encountered all manner of magical beings. Some, like the shimmering sylphs who danced in the air, were friendly and offered them refreshing dew from enchanted flowers. Others, like the mischievous glimmer sprites, were not, and tried to lead them astray with illusions of glittering treasure. Ignis, with his immense strength, easily brushed past the illusions, while Ember, her senses finely tuned to magic, could see the deception for what it was. Alara, with a flick of her wrist, dispelled the sprite's magic, and they continued on their way. Kale, meanwhile, studied Ember, his eyes alight with fascination. He explained that Ember's unique connection to the Elder Dragons meant her power was still growing and undefined. "You don't just breathe fire, little one," he said to Ember one evening as they huddled around a crackling campfire. "You breathe possibility. The power of your ancestors lies dormant within you, waiting to be awakened." Ember listened intently, her small heart swelling with gratitude. She looked at Alara, who was mending a tear in her cloak with a magical needle and thread, and at Ignis, who was curled protectively around her, his massive head resting near her. They had given her a new life, a family, and a purpose. With each step of their journey, their bond deepened. Ignis taught Ember how to channel her strength. Alara helped her focus her magical energy, and Kale taught them all to understand the ancient lore that connected them to the world around them. The trio was already a formidable team, a blend of raw power, focused magic, and ancient wisdom. But with each new journey, with each new challenge, they grew stronger and more powerful, not just individually, but as a family bound by fate and a shared destiny. They knew that their adventures were just beginning, and that together there was nothing they could not accomplish. Their quest to understand Ember's connection to the Elder Dragons led them far beyond the Whispering Peaks, eventually bringing them to a land steeped in ancient magic and human history. The verdant forests and rolling hills of ancient Crystallia. Kale, with his vast knowledge of ley lines and forgotten lore, had sensed a powerful convergence of magical energy here, a place where the veil between worlds was thin. As they arrived, the familiar scent of damp earth and ancient trees filled the air. Ignis, ever vigilant, scanned the horizon with his keen eyes, his massive form a silent guardian. Ember, now noticeably larger, and her scales shimmering with a deeper, more vibrant hue, felt a strange pull, a tingling sensation in her very bones. Alara, her senses attuned to the subtle shifts in magical currents, felt it too. "This place," she murmured, "it hums with untold stories." Their first encounter was with a mischievous group of pixies who, mistaking Ignis for a new, unusually large rock formation, began to decorate him with garlands of wildflowers. Ignis, surprisingly patient, merely rumbled a soft purr, enjoying the unexpected attention. Ember, however, found their antics amusing and playfully chased them through the trees. Her developing fire breath merely warm puffs of air that scattered the pixies in delighted squeals. Kale, poring over a tattered map he'd procured from a secretive market, pointed towards an ancient, gnarled oak tree deeper within Glimmerwood Forest. "The Heartwood, they call it," he explained. As they journeyed towards the Heartwood, the air grew heavy with an ethereal presence. They met a grumpy, but ultimately helpful dryad who guarded a sacred spring, offering them water that shimmered with healing properties in exchange for Elara's captivating tales of dragonkind. Barghest's spectral hounds with glowing red eyes emerged from the mists, snarling. Ignis, with a thunderous roar, lunged forward, his fiery breath scorching the ground, driving them back into the shadows. Ember, inspired by Ignis's courage, unleashed a surprisingly potent burst of fire, singeing the tail of the last retreating Barghest. At the Heartwood, a magnificent ancient oak that seemed to touch the sky, Ember felt an overwhelming surge of energy. The tree's roots pulsed with a soft golden light, Kael explained. The elder dragons, in their time of fading, imbued parts of their essence into these ancient places, hoping their knowledge would one day be rediscovered. He guided Ember to place her paw on the gnarled bark. As Ember touched the tree, a vivid vision flooded her mind. Towering dragons with scales like constellations, soaring through primordial skies, their roars echoing across nascent lands. She saw Alara and Ignis not as they were now, but as ancient protectors, their forms shifting, guarding a glowing egg. Her egg. The vision solidified Ember's understanding. Alara and Ignis weren't just her saviors, but her chosen family across the vast expanse of time. They had been destined to find her. When Ember withdrew her paw, her eyes were wide with wonder and a newfound sense of purpose. Her scales glowed with an internal light, and a faint, almost musical hum resonated from her. Alara smiled, her heart overflowing with pride. Ignis nudged Ember gently with his snout, a deep rumble of approval emanating from his chest. Their journey to Crystallia had not only revealed more about Ember's ancient lineage, but had also cemented the unbreakable bond between them. They had faced dangers, made new allies, and discovered a deeper connection that transcended even the vastness of time. They were more than just a witch and her dragons. They were a family, each growing stronger with every shared adventure, ready for whatever ancient secrets the world still held. The vision faded, leaving Ember feeling lighter, her core humming with a resonant energy she had never felt before. Golden light from the Heartwood settled, illuminating the clearing with a soft, ethereal glow. Kael, a knowing smile on his face, looked at the dragons and then at Alara. The past is no longer a mystery to be solved, the old scholar said, his voice a gentle hum. It is a foundation upon which your future is built. Ember's connection to the Elder Dragons is not a secret to be uncovered, but a legacy she now carries. You were always destined to find her, Alara, and you, Ignis, were always meant to be her protector. Alara's eyes, filled with tears of profound understanding, met Ember's. The young dragon, no longer just a rescued creature, was now a beacon of ancient power and a symbol of their shared destiny. She nudged Alara's hand with her snout, her scales radiating warmth. Ignis, the great and mighty dragon, lowered his head and rested it near Ember, a silent acknowledgement of their deep, intertwined history. In that quiet clearing in the heart of Glimmerwood Forest, they were more than a witch and her dragons. They were an unbreakable unit, a family woven together by fate, magic, and time. The journey for answers was over. Their quest to understand Ember's past had led them to a far greater truth. Their bond was not a coincidence, but a cosmic design. With a final heartfelt goodbye to Kael, who had found his life's work fulfilled, Alara, Ignis, and Ember turned toward the open road. They were no longer searching for their history. They were ready to write their own. Their story was not about where they came from, but about where they were going together, stronger than ever, and with a world of new adventures waiting just beyond the horizon.